Pixel Overdose.
Hey you guys, welcome to another episode of Pixel Overdose. I am your host Jagan, and today we're going to be creating an abstract wallpaper primarily using filters in Adobe Photoshop. So first thing you see here is I have a stock image open. This is just the image of my front yard. Any image will do. But to set up the project, we're going to go to File, New, and we're gonna just create whatever your desktop resolution is. Mine's currently 1280 by 800, but just in case you have something smaller, we're going to go 1024 by 768, and make sure your resolution is set to 72 pixels per inch, and press OK. And we have our new canvas. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna drag the stock image in, and I'm just gonna use this image as a background of sorts. If you press FF, it will full screen, and you can move around. Right now we're at 66.67% magnification. So if we press Control plus and minus to zoom in, zoom out, this is what it will look like 100%. First thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this image as a background, because it has a lot of contrast colors. It will make a really rich background, but because I want to distort this, I want to make this not so clear. I'm going to apply some filters. Now there are tons of filters on top here if you go to filter, and they're categorized into a couple categories, and they're pretty self-explanatory. I definitely suggest you try them out and see what does what. But for this instance, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to blur, Gaussian blur. I'm just going to pump it up to about 8 here. Press OK. I'm going to go to the filter again, and I'm going to add another type of blur. I'm going to add a motion blur. What this will do is makes the blur blurs the image in a straight line on any angle. I'm just going to take 45 degrees, and I'm going to blur it a bit more. So right now we have an image that's pretty abstract. You can't really tell what it was, but you would know because you saw the car. I'm going to apply one more blur to this image. Go to blur, and I'm going to go Gaussian blur again, but this time I'm going to pump it up even more. So what we really see is just some shapes and colors. What this will do is just create some interesting backgrounds. Now next, I'm going to start creating my main content. I'm going to press the new layer. I'm going to fill this layer with a color first. So with my colors here, my foreground color is black right now. I'm just going to go to Edit, Fill, and the foreground color. Just press OK, and it will be black. Sometimes in Photoshop, instead of using an image, or instead of using the brush tool to draw your own image, you can generate some images, and these can be used as good bases. So definitely try these out. But I'm gonna go to Filter and Render, Lens Flare. And you see that it generates this lens flare with these different lenses. But I'm just going to use the 50 to 300 millimeter zoom. I'm going to keep the brightness normal and just randomly select where you want your lens flare to be. On the exact same layer, I'm going to do the exact same thing again. Go to render, lens flare, and this time I'm just going to move it to another place. It could be random. I'm going to turn down the brightness here just so we have some variety. And press OK. And now we have two lens flares. Now, over time, you'll learn to experiment with different filters and combining them to create different types of images. This is a good example of that. By using two lens flare, I have streaks of light, I have rings, I have colors, and all this is good for complex images. I'm going to go to Stylize, and I'm going to choose Find Edges. Now, it pretty much just outlined all of the edges I had in the image. But I want it to be colors on black. So I'm going to invert this. So you can go to image and invert here, or Control I. Now that I have that, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to desaturate it because I don't want all these colors clashing. So I want it to be gray. The shortcut for that is Control Shift U, or you can go to Image, Adjustments, Desaturate. So here, I'm going to add one more filter to this image. I'm going to go to Distort, Wave. Now you can't really see it, but this is actually showing you a preview of what it's going to look like. You can definitely play around with the numbers. I advise you could try, but I'm going to select Randomize, and I'm just going to look at my thumbnail and see what kind of image looks interesting. I think this is good, so I'm going to press OK. So now our image is randomly distorted. The next step I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this layer. To do that, you can right-click Duplicate Layer, or with the layer selected, you can hit Control J. Now I have an exact duplicate of the bottom layer. I want this layer to be transparent. I want the black to be transparent to show through the lines on the bottom. To do that, I'm going to go up here where it says Normal. These are the blend modes you have for each layer. I'm going to select Screen. In future classes, I'm going to explain what the blend modes are exactly. But in short, telling Photoshop how you want the layer you've selected to react to the layer underneath. So by pressing Screen, by choosing Screen, I pretty much eliminated the black, and it's just two layers. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Edit, Transform, Flip Horizontal, and now as you can see the image now is the exact mirror opposite. And what this does is it makes a nice symmetrical abstract image, which catches your attention more, and it makes it look like the form was made like this on purpose. Okay. With that done, I'm going to merge these two layers into one layer. To do that, hold Shift and select the other layer, right click and merge layers. Now that's done, I'm going to go to the blend modes again. I'm going to select Screen one more time. Now it's going to reveal our background. If this is too transparent, what you can do is you can duplicate this layer and merge it again. And then go to Screen, and now your image is a lot more clear. Now what if we want to add some color to this? We can go to Image, Adjustments, and Color Balance. So let's see what will look okay. Maybe I'll make it I'll make it orange for now. So after you've experimented with the colors, press OK. And right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the background look even more backgroundy. Right now it's still too strong. This white is too strong, and I can somewhat still see the image I had. What I'm going to do is I'm going to press Control Shift U to desaturate it completely. I'm also going to go to my levels here, and I'm going to make this image a bit darker. I'm also going to limit the white. Okay. I'm going to hide this layer for now, the top, our main subject. And I'm going to add a filter to this background, render, and lighting effects. What this does, it gives it a natural, sort of like a spotlight. And you can definitely play around with all this, but I'm just going to change. No. Render, lighting effects. I'm also going to shrink this image down because it's way too big. If you press Control T, or you go to Edit, Transform, and Scale. If you want to constrain the proportion and scale from the center, hold Alt and Shift. So as you can see, my lighting effects did work. You can see the fall off of the light here, but I'm not going to show the whole fall off. Let's do something like that. Once you have decided your scale, just double click or just press enter, and it will set to transform. Now there's other things we can do to this image to make it look nicer. I can duplicate it, and you can see it's got a lot brighter. The bright parts got a lot hotter, but you can actually change the blend modes. We can try linear dodge add, and that looks really rich. I can add a few more things to this. I can take the bottom layer here, go to filter, blur, motion blur. I can make it blur up and down, and maybe a slightly bit less. And when I turn this back on, look at the difference before and after. It's a bit nicer. What I can do is I can also tweak the background's color to make it slightly nicer. Make it a bit blue. Press OK and unhide these again. So now you have your image, and looks pretty good. So that's it for today's episode. If you guys have any questions or comments or suggestions of what you guys would like to see, please leave them in the comment section below. And hope you guys got your daily dose. I'll see you guys next time.